Hi everyone, this is Audrey with the Creator's Attic. How is everybody doing today? I hope that this finds you all well and enjoying your weekend. I am having a fantastic weekend, just crafting and obviously making videos for you guys. Welcome to all of you who have already been my subscribers for a while, and to all of my brand new subscribers. If this is your first time coming in or watching a podcast, welcome. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for being so willing to enjoy this journey with me as we create things from all different types of things that other people may find trash or may not, or take things and make them into ways that, in things that no one would have ever thought of before. So that's kind of what we're doing today. These are some prototypes that I wanted to show you. These have all been handmade by me, not the buttons, but these things here. And there are several different things I've used, different techniques, and this will probably be a two-part video. I will show you one of the things that, one of the methods that I use is using the glossy accents. This one has been made with glossy accents, and this has also been used. We used seed beads and what I refer to as micro beads. And these are getting a little bit harder to find, but these are very, very, very tiny beads that don't have holes in them, I think is the best way to describe it. And they are very, very fine, and it is almost like glitter, except that it's not the shiny flaky, it's more of like just these micro beads basically. Another thing that a lot of people have around the house are these seed beads, and I have a ton of them, and this one happens to just include like neutrals and golds and black and just different shades of pewter and copper and gold and silver and what have you. And so these are some of the ones that I made. Now these are some of the first ones that I made. This one was made by taking the back off of a button, which is very simple to do. Taking the back off of a plastic button and then using Fabrifix and coming in and using the seed beads. And of course I used a punch out, something like cardstock or something thick to handle, to hold as my base, so when I go to put it down, and you know that it doesn't, you know, that it's something for it to stick to. The only problem I had with these were the edges. Sometimes these want to chip off, and sometimes you're trying to get the glue them on the edges, and it just, so I decided I did the same thing with this one. Now these are pretty good about the beads not coming off of them once they stay. Oh, they're popped a bead. Okay, so if you flick them hard enough, yeah, you'll probably may lose a bead, but you can just simply just pop it back in there. But this one's been this way for probably a year now. And so if you want just a small embellishment or something, these little smaller ones, they take less time and are super easy to make. And then of course I've come up with a new improved way to tame the beast, so to speak, with the edges, and I'm going to show you that because I used that technique when I did this one. This one I used black seed beads, but I ended up giving myself a border, and that contained everything right there, and it solved all my problems. The same thing with this one. It has a border that's put around so the beads don't go outside of the edges. So this is one that I made yesterday, and I'm not sure how much I am in love with the color palette, but that's what we have. So if you want to learn how to make these, let's go ahead and get started. The first way I'll be showing this will be in one that will be with the seed beads. Now if I don't have time to show you the glossy accents version, then I will just make a part 2 using glossy accents. But most of us are probably more prone to have Fabrifix as general crafting supplies go. Fabrifix more so than having all of the glossy accents and the fancy micro beads and all. Let's start with the Fabrifix and some seed beads and some old buttons. Or maybe you have some pieces of jewelry, and we're going to design this one together. I wish I could get your input through my phone, but I can't. I don't know if you, and you can't really challenge vibes backwards, I guess, into the past. So we'll just have to pretend that you're here and you're helping me pick these out. But let's do this together. So first of all, the only thing that I need to get started is a base. A very sturdy base. So I'm going to grab one of my hole punch. Let me see which size I'm going to get. I'm just going to do a round one instead of trying to do an intricate floral one for this video, because these get a little bit more detailed. And so let's just make a basic one together. Let me grab a hole punch. I thought I had one ready for us, but I did not. So give me just a minute to grab a punch. Let's see what I have. I have a 2-inch punch, but I'm looking for something maybe just a little bit smaller. You know, a heart-shaped punch may also be extremely cute for this as well. Let's see what else I can find in here. Let's see. I keep coming across a heart. I don't want the heart right now. Okay, and this one is a little too big. I apologize, but this happens sometimes. Okay. I am stuck between a 1 1/4 punch and a 2-inch punch. Let's see. Oh, perfect. This is what I was looking for. I wanted a 1 1/2 inch. This is a good standard size, and it won't take us as long to do it, because the bigger you get, obviously, the bigger it gets, obviously, the more work you're going to have to do. So you just need to take a sturdy piece of card, like a chipboard, or maybe not even that thick. I think chipboard may be a little too thick. Let's see. You can take a cardstock, but make sure it's a sturdy cardstock. I think I'm going to just use the back off of my envelope here, possibly. I can just pop it out because it's not too thick. Okay, so here is what I'm working with. Now, I want to go ahead and get started with putting my edge around this. And I'm going to put my mat down, and I'm going to move all of our embellishments back. These would be so pretty on the front of journals. They may take up a little bit more space if you put them in a journal, but it just depends on what size beads you use. This one may work in a journal because it's not very thick, if you can see that. And I just had a flower punch, and that's how I was able to use that as a template. But we're going to want to put something around the edge to give us a border. So I'm going to use embroidery thread. Embroidery thread works very well. And so once I figure out what kind of button I want, I will choose my embroidery thread color. Let me see if I can move you out a little bit so you can see. Well, all right, that's about out as far out as you're going to go. Okay. All right, I thought I had you scooted in a little bit more, but I have all of these lovely vintage buttons, and then these are some of my favorites. I can't wait to get and use these in journals. They're just old and gorgeous. But for the sake of this one, just demonstrating this video, I may use this plastic one here because it's smaller, and that would be very nice to go with this size. Also, broken jewelry. You can use, I actually get earrings and things like that, and then just pop this came from an earring. It's gorgeous. That would be so gorgeous, surrounded by beads, then put on the front of a journal. These are popped off of earrings. Pieces of earrings, backs of earrings, and just from junk jewelry and stuff. So you can get all kinds of things. You can use junk jewelry, you can use buttons. For this sake, I'm going to use buttons. Everybody should have some buttons around. So this one has a little plastic bag. So all you have to do when you have a plastic bag is just snip that plastic bag back off. And I have some jewelry scissors, if I turn them around the correct way, that will just pop this right on off for me. And then that way it will lie flat on my, or lay flat. Let's see, people lie down. I think things lay. Let's see, I'm just going to go with lay. Lay down on your thing. And this one is working very well. Let's see if I can get any more of this off. These are just some little jewelry pliers that I have that will snip wire and things like this off. And these are only a couple of dollars at the store. Sometimes you can get them used. You can get them at thrift stores. But mine are not very expensive because don't really use, here we go. We don't really use them that much in my crafting, so I don't need a super expensive pair. Okay, so here's what I'm going to have in the middle. I've not adhered it or anything, but that helps me to decide. I think I'm going to go with some black beads, and I may mix these up as well. I'm going to go with some black beads, and oh, those are pretty. Oh my goodness, I'm feeling blacks and maybe some coppers, or that's a nice brown. Yeah, I am going to mix these together somewhat. Here's a mixture already of cool colors, I believe. Let's see if there's a mixture of, yes, of warmer beads in there. So this is kind of a little on the warmer side, but I don't think I'm going to use those. I think I'm going to mix my own beads. So what I always keep handy are these little medicine cups that come off of cough medicine. And then I'm going to mix my colors in a moment. So now I know that I want to use a black thread, a black embroidery thread for my base. So I'm going to make sure I have my Fabrifix, and I may use a little bit something a tish different than what I had anticipated. I think I may use this brown just to add a little bit of contrast. So I'm just going to take this color. I hope I'm in frame. And I'm going to cut out what I know will fit around the diameter of my circumference. Wait a minute. Look, I'm a little confused. I just had my coffee and I just woke up. That's really no excuse. It sounds like a lame excuse, but it will fit around. So we're going to just come to the very edge, and we're just going to lay down a layer around the edge. And it doesn't have to be perfect. And if it comes out a little too fast for you, you can always wipe it back. We're just going to put it around the edges. I hope you can see this. Okay. Put this around the edges, and I'm just going to kind of push. If I have a little bit more clops, I'm, in cloppier places. Clops of glue. Okay, if you don't mind getting, you need a baby wipe on hand or something like that to get the glue off, because you don't want to end up everything sticking to your fingers. So basically all I'm going to do is move you in a little closer, and I'm just going to lay this down. And don't get freaked out. This is not as tedious as it looks. It comes together actually a lot faster than you may think it does. So this is another use for embroidery thread as well. And what we'll do is we'll basically just get the shape of this around and into the glue. And the glue gives you a minute to go and work with it. And we'll cut this piece off when we decide how we want. But what I want to do is see how it's not quite to the edges. I want to roll this to the edges until I don't see any of the edges. So any of the edges of the piece of my backing, like my cardboard piece or whatever that I'm using. So you're going to roll this back until, and I can snip this off now, here, and just put it back up in here. And let me see. Okay, so this guy wants to play where the edges meet. I think I can just put a little Fabrifix in there. Yeah, you stay. You're going in. You're in this for the long haul, string. Okay, there we go. Now we have this, and this works as a barrier to keep my. Let's see if you can see that. Yeah, to you're kind of close, so I hope so. This works as a barrier to keep my beads from rolling out, and so I'm not going to have to be gluing them all in from the sides and afraid they're going to fall out. Okay, so we have our shape. Okay, so here we go. I've got glue on my hands, so I'm going to go to my wipe my hands off, and then back you out a tish. Okay. And here we go. So we have this, and I'm going to leave this on my mat for the time being because I am going to be using glue. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my button that I have, and I'm going to put in the center of my, put a dot of glue in the center of my piece, and then I'm going to put my button down in the center of that. And it may take a minute to stick, so I'm going to put a little bit more on here. I would like probably have gotten this glue off a little, or the back of this off just a little bit more would have probably helped, but I think it'll be fine. It will definitely stick after a few minutes. So just let this, make sure you've got it in the center, and see, you already have the beginning of your embellishment, and don't worry about all that glue. This glue here, it will get covered up, and we will move on. So, okay, because remember, keep in mind, all of these were done with Fabrifix, and this one was not done with borders. I only wisened up recently. So while I'm letting this sit here and dry, I'm going to go ahead and move this off of this magazine off, and I'm just going to put this down right here. Okay, so let me make some space. Now I'm going to, I'm going to decide, a lot of what I did with some of these other prototypes is I put a border around of a certain color around the bead, and then maybe I put another color around here. You can do that, but you don't have to do that, and if for sake of time, I probably will just put a little tiny border around this one here. Okay, roll this back if it gets, okay. All right, so what I'm gonna do is just show you how easy it is to get a small border around this button. Okay, so basically you're just gonna come around and you're just going to glue down around the base, and it doesn't have to be perfect, of this button, and then you're going to take the color that you want to make your border, like do your border. I am going to do this just to show because it's so cool. So I'm going to dump a few of these black beads into my cup, and then, are you in frame? See, maybe I go a little bit closer. There we go. All right, so I'm just going to simply, and what you may want to use also is maybe a little skewer or a toothpick, but you don't have to. But I find that sometimes in tedious parts it becomes something that's very useful. But I'm not worried right now because the only part that should have glue on it is the part where I want my beads to go. So basically, if I just put these down, I can get them in a layer around the button pretty quickly. If I didn't have a little piece of something scoot in there. So basically I can just kind of move these over where I want them, and I just kind of want a single layer. So single layer, and let's see, maybe I need one more in here, maybe one more here. And look at that. This came together that fast, okay? My border came together. My little shape came that fast. Now it's time just to fill it in. So I'm going to remove my black beads. So this is why I like this little cup. You just can do it like this. Put them back in your thing and your mess is cleaned up. So I think I'm going to take some of these. I think I do want shinier beads because that gold is a little shiny. So let's see what I have. Okay, these shiny copper beads are really pretty. These are kind of a cooler copper though. I wonder if I have a little bit more intense copper, like a warmer looking copper. It's not really, I don't know, copper, brass. I get the two mixed up. The shades are so alike to me. Okay, I think I'm definitely going to use these gold, and I think I'm going to use these, and I wanted a little bit of a red color in there, maybe, or maybe I wanted more of a neutral brown. Okay, so, oh, I see this peeking out. Just slide it back, put it in its place, stay back you. And you can always, these may always come, but as long as, you know, you move, they'll still move back a little bit. Okay, sometimes they want to peek out. No, go back there. All right, so now I'm going to just mix these together. I'm going to take my brown beads here. I'm just going to put a few in here. You can see I'm going to put a few of these. Sometimes you can buy these in like mixed packs already, and that's cool too. But this way you get to mix exactly the colors that you want. So I'm gonna, oh, these will be great. These gold will be great. And so I have these so far. So do I want to do anything else? Maybe put a little bit more of the brown color in there. And the thing about these is sometimes I feel like I'm using up all my beads, and I don't want to use up all my beads. I like them. Okay. All right, we're going to stop with this, and this should cover our surface. If not, we'll just mix a little more. Here we go. So I'm just going to, first of all, just start with a small part of my, and just go around about half. Sorry, you're totally out of frame, and there we go. Sorry about that. Okay, you're just going to totally go around about half with the glue. So you're going to make sure that you cover in all the way up to that string and all the way up to that border that you did. And then you're just going to put them, you're not going to just dump them on there, but you're just going to kind of put them down onto the Fabrifix glue, where the area of the glue is, and you're going to kind of push them a little bit closer. Let's see, I got glue on my good mat. I think I've come to the point where I know that I'm going to have to buy a new mat, because it's just inevitably going to get destroyed by seed beads. I mean, glue at some point, no matter how many magazines I use, etc. So what I'm going to do is make sure, I'm going to back you up just a tish. Okay, I'm having trouble seeing myself because I've got this video camera in my way. So let's see. See, we've already covered that much, and you know, you put this much time into, and you make it your own. It feels really special when you have your own embellishments. You know, you're like, people will be like, you made that? I'm like, yeah, I made that. And you're like, that is so pretty. And they think that it took a lot of time and patience, but it really just, it depends on you, how picky you want to get with it and things like that. Okay, so a little bit more glue and just a few more beads, and just scoot it around. You want to make sure that they're on a single layer. That's why I'm mashing them down. You don't want any to be doubled on top of there. And I also got glue on my fingers. I gotta wipe that off. Getting glue on your fingers will make them want to stick to your fingers more than they'll stick to the Fix glue. And I see you want to fill in any gaps that you see, and you can do that by kind of pushing them together. You don't want to see the cardboard bottom of your, you want to try to cover that, all of that up. And I'm getting sticky fingers again. Okay. So, whoops, that one got on top of that. You don't belong there. You don't belong there. All right. And you don't belong there. You belong, you belong in there. Sometimes this is where you can just kind of come in and use this to kind of move them in place. Use your skewer. I'm sorry. It's totally out of, okay. Let's try to just go ahead and do this in 2 more goes, and then we'll be done with this one. Ooh, okay. So I'm going to put these out. Now, if you want to painstakingly turn all these over to where the holes aren't showing, that's up to you. But let me turn on my light a little bit more. It's a little bit, the sun is not shining as brightly through my window today as it does sometimes, so. All right, so putting these on here. And if you're crafting along with me, you're enjoying you don't mind the painstaking slow part of this. And I was a little afraid to do this video because I did know that it would take some intricate time to do, and I didn't want to lose my viewers. But if you just hang in there with me, even if you speed me up to get to the end, I really want you to see the end result of what we've done here. So, let's see, I'm going to use this, scoot these back a little bit, and sometimes they won't stick exactly where you want them, and you'll have to go in, and there's a little hole right there, and you'll just have to go in and kind of pop a bead in there, and if it stays, then you know it got glued. But you definitely want to move these around. Just try not to get, you know, the less glue you have on your fingers, better. All right, we're almost done. We're almost done. We're down on the home stretch. Do the very last beads. Okay. And we are going to, and just spread that around. I got a big glob on there. Didn't mean to get quite that much. So I'm going to just push these in. Turn it over if any want to fall down, kind of like you did in kindergarten when you were using glue. Sometimes you know what wants to stick, and then some of these will want to double layer on you, and you want to kind of get rid of those because you want a single layer to lie flat. Okay, so here we have this, and almost. My fingers got glue on it. Grab your baby wipe, do like that. And just kind of push around and make sure that you're getting all of your, I'm going to move it over here just a second so I can see it myself. I'm having trouble seeing. Okay, so got all my spider webs from my Fabrifix. It tends to have those little strings. I call those spider webs. Okay, so here is our embellishment that we just made. And so this one is the one making them out of seed beads. And if I go upside down and I do like this and none fall off, I know I can set it aside for a while and I'll be good. So see how much more contained this looked than this one because I used the string. Okay, so this is how you do this with seed beads and a button and a piece of index card and some glue. All right, so if you enjoyed this, please hit like, and if you're not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. I would love to have you come back and watch. I do all kinds of different things. This is very different from a lot of the other things that I've done on my videos, but I'm always coming up with these brainstorms and I like to share them with you. And so if you like this, come back and join us for more. And let's see, I will be doing one on the seed beads. This one will go a little bit faster, so look out for the one. It will say making embellishments using glossy accents, something like that. So we'll be doing that one pretty soon. So I hope that you enjoyed this, and let me just show you quickly. I were to put this on, I don't really have a journal page so where this would really go, but I just kind of want to put an example, you know, of how pretty this can be. Here's just a piece of page. Here's a piece that I have that's like this, and this may just be something that I may want to put as an accent on this page. Maybe put something underneath it to break up, or that may be too busy. Or you know, I can just fit it in. This doesn't have a cover, but it would be beautiful on the cover of a book. I don't really have any good examples around to show you of how well this would do, but put a piece of lace under this or something, glue it on, it'd be beautiful. Okay, so here we go. Here are the ones that we had at the beginning of the video, and here's our new one. Okay, and check out my Etsy store if you haven't already. It is The Creator's Attic on Etsy, and it should be down in the discussion portion of this video as a link to my store. Thank you, and I will see you soon. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.